Hey everybody, Scott Stevens here with a look at the weather as we round out a week, the third week of October now drawing to a close. Getting everything adjusted here. Had an interesting issues with the NCEP, National Centers for Environmental Prediction. Their computer centers, a lot of things were down for the bulk of yesterday. They did come up last night, so we're never going to get what was missed. They did backfill some data, but not a lot. And I was just glad that data came back up today, so we could keep our eyes on this snowy event that's coming. But until then, we're still dealing with fires across Colorado. There has been some improvement overnight. There has been a lot of improvement overnight. That's probably the best news that these Estes Park and Granbury and these other communities in and around that have built very, very expensive homes up in the Rockies and up in the terrain and in the wilderness. It's beautiful to have a home up there, but with forests loaded with as much dead wood as there is, it is a very, very dangerous place to have your primary residence. And I can certainly sympathize. I'm in the mountains just a bit farther south. So heart is broken for those who have lost so much in the Colorado fires, but it is repaired somewhat by the brave men and women who are doing their best to not let entire communities go. And the darkness that has people have lived with underneath that incredible plume of smoke is just something to behold. If you've ever been in a situation like that, or if you have not, then it's really tough to appreciate what's going on. There are other plumes showing up at other places of the world. We'll look at those in just a moment. Now, the last couple of days, especially earlier in the week and even more so last week, the models were insistent that in this very climatologically favored location for tropical storm development, that there would be one. There's one model that predicted it come across Cuba, pop in through the Straits of Florida, then be bounced back up, and then across the Bahamas, and then into the into the Atlantic over the Gulf Stream. But nonetheless, now that scenario may be drawing to a little bit of a close. Somewhat off topic, but still, the view from space for me is always inspiring. And Elon Musk and his crew at SpaceX are inspiring many people tonight. The Starship is going to take us to Mars and beyond as they begin to assemble this guy. It is very cartoonish, and that is by design. We'll see how it all mates out. But nevertheless, some assembly is going together. It's odd. It's like they've got money to play with, these funky designs. And certainly when you're stock of a non-profit earning company like Tesla Motors is, you've got room to play. And Elon's been given providence from the powers that be to play in things. And so has Richard Branson and Jeff Bezos. All of these rich billionaires are, I see, replacing nation states as we venture off into space. And in some ways, it's a privatization to bring in new tech. In other ways, it's a little concerning that it becomes a private affair, and that means the spoils would end up in private hands. All right, good thing the Canadian geese are hardy because the snow just keeps coming in Minnesota. I've had a wet day or two with some very nice totals, and with the next storm on the heels of the one that just blazed across South Dakota, Iowa, and Minnesota, now Michigan. Blizzard warnings have been issued for the northern portions of Montana with snowfalls of 8 to 16 inches, and that is a very generic window. It's like 1 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 16 as we kind of open up the window of potentials. So I'll let you combine that with some winds, and it could be really kind of a rough night there. And new this morning, the East troublesome fire. Colorado has jumped to the second largest fire in the state's history, now burning over 170,000 acres. Fire is also near the Cameron Peak fire, and officials are worried about the potential of these two beasts merging. And from above, Hot Sulphur Springs, Colorado, we can see kind of the graphic view with the fire down below with a fairly healthy break. And there is good news on the weather front that we do have some moisture coming, so that's going to greatly assist. And it's amazing what they can do with makeup artists. That's something there. Here we go. Maybe we got a full screen. As a little bit of light snow has fallen in Norway and Iceland, and even in Canada, where these aurora are being sighted, with the Earth's magnetic field far, far weaker than it has been in maybe the last 200 years and continuing to weaken. That means that it doesn't take a big event from the sun to trigger these aurora. And these aurora are likely to continue to become almost a daily affair as the magnetic field weakens. We've got the North Pole racing across the top of the planet last year and is racing into Siberia. There's also a South Atlantic anomaly that is showing up. So something significant is underway as far as the Earth's magnetic field is concerned. It's big, and likely it'll eventually be a flip. And from all of my understanding, once you get out of the mainstream media, which thinks the mainstream press, these things take thousands of years, there is on the ground evidence at Crater Lake that it could be done in weeks time. And that would be an amazing event to kind of live through. All right, more dust erupting from the Kamchatka Peninsula in Far East Russia, and a big belch of sulfur dioxide and ash going into the atmosphere. Undoubtedly, we'll be able to have and see pictures of that from space coming up very, very shortly. Unprecedented conditions in Colorado caused the East Troublesome Fire that we just took a look at to burn more than 130,000 acres yesterday alone. Nationally, 54 large fires have burned nearly 4 million acres across 11 states. As we look at this, no new fires, 6 fires were contained, and we're still left with 17 in California, 8 in Idaho, 3 in Utah, 2 in Wyoming, 3 in Arizona. And on the whole, for the entire year, we've burned 8.6 million acres. And it's possible that we'll close this gap with this 9.4 million acre total of 5 years ago. That is if it happens soon, because it appears that the weather is going to turn, and that will undoubtedly bring about a change in the weather when it comes to the Front Range of Colorado. I'm going to roll this back, and we can see the heat signature from that East Troublesome Fire east of Loveland, Fort Collins, Colorado, and it remains in place. But more noticeably, look at the bloody mess of chemtrails all through this little plume of cirrus clouds in through here, through the central and northern Rockies. I mean, the trails are just absolutely intense. And when you do a study and you run these things through filters, you can begin to see that the trails, particularly right in here, are not moving in tandem with the clouds. So there's a way that you can slowly, just like a small snowplow, move a little bit of snow, and snow being represented by the atmosphere or the water crystals in there. And you can gently sweep away some resistance to an inbound storm. And it doesn't take a little bit. It's truly the butterfly effect in effect. So small literally touches to the atmosphere days ago can create a fairly large event downstream. And that's where we are. All right, we've got the fires in Colorado. This is the drought monitor map that was released yesterday. And this is an animation of the snowfall forecast in 6-hour intervals. This is from the European model. And what it does is it brings in some very nice snowfalls over those fire locations, those places that are dealing with the fires, in about 2.5 days' time. Through the through the entirety of the day on Sunday, and then waning Sunday night, and then it focuses more so on southern Colorado and northern New Mexico after that point in time. So that's probably the good news. As far as temperatures, this Arctic surge dropping in a lot of cold air. By Monday, we are dealing with 70 plus locations with cold record minimum temperatures, some sub-zero readings in Montana and in Idaho and in Colorado, and maybe even out on into the plains as this cold air spreads off to the east. And then daytime highs, 73 locations, anticipating record cold high temperatures on let's get in there on Monday. So that's a lot of locations that'll have the heat on, and some of them in Texas and Oklahoma, potentially even for the first time in the last 5-6 weeks since we had that snow back 8, 9, 10 September. Rio Grande Village, Texas, yesterday at 100 degrees at 11 below, 32 miles north of Hinesdale, Montana. I don't know where that is. And there is our what will likely be a very curious tropical storm / hurricane for next week. Epsilon now moving towards the north and northeast, more northerly right now at about 12 miles an hour, as it is being pulled off towards Ireland and so forth. In the vapor imagery, easy to see all of those trails kind of hashing and creating that additional cloud cover that I am on the edge of all day long. Same story with California, laden with this metallic residue to allow the electrical influences on the atmosphere a little greater grip, a little bigger hold. So whatever they're doing out west undoubtedly is to alter the forecast, alter what is coming ever so slightly, so it in the long term has a big impact. There's that troublesome fire, and then strong north winds driving the cold air down through Kansas. They did get a little bit of sunshine later on in the day. These were your mid-morning temperatures, where it was just a glorious start to a warm fall afternoon, a warm fall Friday in New England, the mid-Atlantic states, Niagara Frontier, even in through say Toronto and Detroit. Very, very warm start to the day. Not so much Havre, Montana, -1, 13 Rapid City, Sheridan at 13 degrees, Billings, in just barely out of the single digits. So very, very cool. I will refresh this and bring this into the afternoon readings. And there's a little bit of a warm up, still 40s in Oklahoma as the sun sets on the western horizon, but still a lot of Nebraska and the Dakotas and Minnesota, Wyoming and Montana did not break out of that freezing mark today, all courtesy of the cold high pressure that is now anchored across the high plains. And then ahead of that, it is a different beast, is that heat and humidity still surging all the way through Maine, through New England, with temperatures after sunset still holding on to the 50s and 60s. So it's nice. It's not going to last terribly long, but it is just nice to have that kind of weather there. All right, who's on? Oh, they're sitting over there on my page. That's a good thing. Good to see you guys there. Comments kind of skinny today. So thunderstorms marching eastbound through Louisiana into the New Orleans area. And it's been dry outside of the storms in Louisiana, the hurricanes, the tropical storms, but elsewhere across the Gulf states, they've just kind of been teetering in and on drought, more so to the north, where we do have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings in effect as those storms move to the east. But the driest of all has been New England, of course, outside of the western states, west of that 100th meridian. And as we look at the models, let's come back in here and then restart this to play. So we've got this low dropping in from Canada, and this just keeps digging south. So it's going to bring the desert Southwest their first snows, even in the hills outside of Tucson, outside of Albuquerque, and then in the wake of that, ushering in a lot of chilly weather. So there are changes immediately ahead. And it all has to do with this deep cold low that rolls on through, kind of cuts off and becomes its own center of circulation through the southwest, and then is absorbed back into the jet stream. The ridge rebuilds as we move towards the end of next week and through the bulk of that first week, and then approaching election day. The southeast will be kind of unsettled if this model holds. But much of the rest of the nation outside of maybe the Dakotas looks like it'll be fairly agreeable for that 3rd of November event. And then, do we see anything down in here as far as tropical storms? Yes and no, not really. Not really. So we'll see what really eventually happens. All right, that's going to probably wrap it up, because I'm more interested in seeing what's going to happen with the snow in time. Beautiful Detroit this morning. Did you get snow up there, guy? Did you get snow? Kind of chilly, I would think. Come into this, baby. I need to come over here, change the sector view, and Great Lakes states, Detroit. Yeah, you don't really have anything coming this weekend. It looks like the snow is going to stay north of you and up into Canada. So you're kind of golden for the short term if this comes to pass. All right, that's Dan. Good to see you, Dan. That's going to be it for the day. We're going to, I didn't even share that back with you, did I? There's Detroit. So I can come in here partially. Still got to be able to scroll as we move through 31 October, 1st of November. There's just, you might be wet, but it doesn't look like it's going to be snow. That's probably the good news. All right, guys, we'll end it here. I'll catch you on Monday with another shot of weather at 5 o'clock Mountain, but more so another perspective as we have this set of disclosures happening around the planet. All those things, the big dude behind the curtain in The Wizard of Oz beginning to be revealed. And we'll soon understand the depths and the extent of the illusion that we have all lived within. I think the Biden revelation is just a little teeny part of the grander story that we're all just about to get shown and have just kind of shoved in our face. All right, that'll run my. And now you guys are showing up. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Dinner's cooking. It's in the other room. It's itching to come this way, and I'm gonna go have some dinner. And I'll catch you on Monday. Hey, love y'all. And in the meantime, keep looking up, would you?